So, did you guys know there's a part of the Bible where a human, like me or you, actually wrestles with one of God's angels? Um, so, here's the story of it. So, there's a guy named Jacob, right? Son of Isaac, twin brother of Esau. All right, so like when Esau was born, Jacob was grabbing Esau's heel, like coming out right after him. And that's pretty much, you know, his character, his personality. Jacob literally means heel grabber. So, they saw him grabbing the heel. They're like, that's it. That's your name. And that's who he was. Because, like someone who grabs your heel, someone who's trying to make you trip, you're a trickster, kind of underhanded, a little grimy. Jacob, in the beginning of his life, not so much of a good person. So Jacob is kind of messed up for two ways, really. One, he convinces his brother, albeit it's not very hard, to give up his family inheritance, his birthright. So one day Esau comes in from the fields after working, super hungry. Jacob has the food, and he goes, all right, Esau, look, I know you're hungry, so how about this? I give you this food, you give me your birthright. So he basically trades him some food so that he becomes the new firstborn, and then he gets the family inheritance and all the physical property and all that stuff, all the cool stuff that comes with being the firstborn. And I kind of understand it because I've been mad hungry before after working all day, and you just ain't thinking straight. So Jacob caught Esau on a bad time, I'd like to think, because how else are you gonna trade that? Either that or just not the sharpest tool in the shed. And where Jacob's messed up to Esau is that he actually steals his father's blessings to his brother. So Isaac, their father's on their deathbed, and the Lord has been providing, and he's been blessed by the Lord to be provided and taken care of. And Isaac's like, all right, I'm on my deathbed, I'm going to pass this on to Esau. So he has, he tells his wife to send in, his son Esau, and Jacob just kind of swoops his way up inside there, pretends to be Esau. Granted, the mom helped, so she's, a little at fault here too, but, Jacob just went along with it and totally pretends to be Esau and takes those, blessings that he was trying to give to his brother for himself. So just like that, takes the blessings of provision and the birthright from his older brother, SMH. So rightfully so, Esau is kind of royally pissed off and vows to murder his brother. Personally, I think that's a bit excessive, but he did take everything from him. So, and Jacob, not wanting to be murdered, was like, deuces. So he just splits, gets out of Dodge, and actually lives kind of a tough life for the next couple of years. And you're kind of reading it, you're like, yeah, that's what he deserves because he's being a butt to his brother. But yeah, he tries to marry some girl, and they promise that he can marry her if he works hard for 7 years. So he does 7 years hard labor, and then the guy doesn't even give him the girl that he wants. He gives him her older sister. So now Jacob's married to this girl that he doesn't want, and then he's like, oh, you wanted to marry that one? Well, she's the older sister. She has to be married first. 7 years for the sister he doesn't want, and then another 7 years for the girl that he actually wants. And he's married to both of them. Works hard for a couple more years, has kids, kind of gets some wealth, gets some animals, all that good stuff. And then God's like, all right, head back to your homeland. And, you got to go if God tells you to go. So he just starts heading that way. Problem is, though, his mom said, don't come back until I tell you. And his brother, kind of a grudge holder, still kind of wants to, his brother. So he's kind of running into a problem there. And he tries to kind of ease him off and kind of send him some stuff and, just kind of, fill out the situation to see if his brother's pissed. And it turns out he has 400 men that kind of, a little army that just kind of wants to take him out. So, and then for the first time, he sits down and he's talked to the Lord before, and the Lord's given him some visions, but he's never really prayed to the Lord, but he sits and he prays to the Lord, and he asks, like, please keep me safe. Please keep my family safe. You said, my blessings are for you to provide for me. So just please give me the blessings you said you were going to give me. And then he divides his family, or everything with him, all the animals and everything, into two groups. And he's like, all right, so like if these guys get attacked, these guys will be safe. And if these guys get attacked, these guys will be safe. So using his brain, being a little smart. And then, he sends them off, and then he sends some groups towards his brother, and in different sections, saying that just let him know that I'm coming. And he sends everyone away from him. And then when he's finally by himself, he gets attacked. So that stranger comes out of nowhere and just starts wrestling with him from night all the way to early in the morning. So the stranger and Jacob are going at it. And in the process, that stranger just kind of, at the end, pokes Jacob's hip, and the hip just completely pops out of its socket. And so he can't even walk or nothing. And he's just holding on to the stranger's leg. And the stranger's like, dude, it's over. Let go of me. Unhand me. And Jacob says, no, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. So the stranger looks at Jacob and says, what's your name? And he says, Jacob, the heel grabber. Probably rightfully so, because he's probably just holding on to his leg with his dislocated hip. And the stranger looks at him and says, all right, here's your blessing. You're not Jacob anymore. From now on, you're Israel. And this is really dope part, because Israel means wrestle or contend, fight with God, because that's what he does, or that's what he did. It turns out that he was not just wrestling with some random stranger. He was actually wrestling with, God, or an angel from the Lord, at least. And it's just kind of beautiful if you think about it, man. Because Jacob went from, or Israel rather, some kind of low, lame, underhandy, tricky guy who doesn't want to work hard, is finding the easy way to just come up on people, to probably doing the hardest thing you'll ever do, and go for hours against an unstoppable, impossible task and win a wrestling match with an angelic being. So Jacob, or Israel rather now, he leaves that day with a limp as kind of a reminder from the Lord that of what happened. And he actually names the spot of the whole event that took place with him wrestling the angel as Peniel, which means come face to face with the Lord without being obliterated. And it's just one of those times where, as a human, as all of us are on our path, as we're growing and doing our own thing, sometimes God, hurts us or takes us something away from us or sets us back. But it's an experience that we need in order to make us stronger than we've ever been. So in summary, you just got to be like Jacob, / Israel. And when you're scared of someone, or something coming at you, something opposing you, you just got to surrender. Start praying harder than you ever prayed before. Pray for the first time maybe. And with that, God's going to be there, and if you cling to him all night, much like he did in his wrestling match, when it's all over and the sun rises, you're going to have that confidence to face whatever's in front of you, because the Lord is with you at all times.